nothing like a couple of empty seats to get us started off, and then two practically bald dudes wearing the same shirt. So we're not even going to wait for the after party. We're just going to start getting weird right now. But first, this.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
So I'm just going to start things off since there are two empty seats here. We can continue to talk because it works and everybody will hear us. But I really just want to play that right now for a few minutes and just bask in the enjoyment of actually winning a game for once. I almost don't know what to say if I'm being totally honest here.
Well, we've won two since we were last here, haven't we?
It's like we've won one. Actually, we've won two. Yeah.
We're actually putting a run together.
And, it's just the thing that keeps popping up is would he have made the changes that he needed, that he made? Would he have made those changes against Chelsea had it not been for, I saw somebody put out a tweet today, said, if Mikel Arteta is not going to make the changes necessary, COVID-19 is going to come in and do it for him, or something. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, but something along those lines. So it remains to be seen. Hang on. First super chat of the night. Thanks, Mike. $2 only gets donated if we keep the other two off. Well, since you asked so nicely.
Okay, great. Because we don't do around here.
But yeah. So it'll just be Stan and I, and it's kind of weird because we're both, pretty clean shaven, and he's much more clean shaven up there than I am, but I've got this and he doesn't. And we're both wearing the same shirt. So yeah, it's fun. Mike, sorry, I can't keep them out of this, but we do certainly appreciate the kind donation, sir. Thank you. Keep that in the back pocket for a little later on, if you don't mind too. So, but yeah, I where to start, man? I mean, we won. It's
two games.
Different feeling. Yeah, it's a different feeling right now. I put out a tweet earlier. It's like the world's just a brighter place right now. The birds sing a little louder. The breeze lessens just a hair. It might be 30 degrees, but it feels like it's 40. So it's just an overall great feeling right now. So, but all right. So everybody's here. Stan, how was your Christmas, man?
Yeah, my Christmas was good. There's only two of us, right? But the missus decided in her infinite wisdom that we needed a £24 turkey. So I'm going to be eating turkey for the next 6 months for every single meal that we have. But it doesn't matter because I love turkey. So it is a win-win. I love turkey. So happy days, yeah.
Love to eat turkey. Rowan, how was your Christmas?
Christmas is great here in Seattle. So in time zone now, in time zone. So here with family, very good Christmas, lots of food. Mrs. was cooking and I had to go ingredient shopping again and again. The hunt for Toblerone was unreal, really. So yeah, but we made it. So after Christmas is when this holiday is supposed to begin or has begun. Till then it was on the edge, but now we're off the edge.
Right. Ryan, bah humbug.
Yeah. I was all right. Nothing crazy.
I didn't ask you how yours was.
I don't really care. I'm going to tell you anyway.
I hope you do. I hope
you
Stan, that is a rather large Toblerone you have there.
I don't know what it is, right? But for some reason, everybody bought me chocolate for Christmas. I've got so much turkey and so much chocolate But I like chocolate as well, so happy days.
Yeah, right. Ryan, tell us how it was.
Okay, so Rohan went dark here. So I will say, a youngin walked into Rohan's room, and I don't know if you guys have seen the video. I think the guy's being interviewed on CNN or MSN, one of those political channels, and he's doing like this, like brief, like he's just like laying down the law for something that's going on. It could be business, could be politics. I don't know. I don't really watch that thing. And a little kid just walks in, and the guy, you could clearly see he is super embarrassed. His face is red. He's like, I'm so sorry. And then the little baby walks in in her little like thing, and you see, I guess, like the nanny run in, go, oh shit, and like grabs them both, and you can see the look of just sheer terror and embarrassment on her face. And I could have swore I saw a hint of that with Rohan, but it wasn't nearly as funny. So I was a little upset. But yeah.
So everybody had a good Christmas. That's good news, and I hope everybody in the chat box and watching right now, I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas as well. And the Arsenal saw fit to bless us not only with one, but with dubs. And I'm going to play it again just because it's so fun. Never mind the MLB.com thing down there. Don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. It just feels good. Just feels good. Boys, let's start with Chelsea, and I'm going to bring the question up. And it is kind of negative, but I'm hoping the three of you will put a nice positive spin on it. So somebody put out a tweet earlier today that more or less said that if Arteta isn't going to get his starting 11 right, then COVID-19 is going to come in and do it for him. So, of course, we keep seeing the tweets of Willian's best games have been the past two games. So, does Arteta, was his hand forced, and would he have made the changes? And I know it's a moot point, but would he have made the changes without his hand being forced, do you think? Stan, I'll start with you.
Personally, for me, don't know, don't care. I call it a happy accident. You know, if it's a case that his hand was forced, then, you know, the footballing gods are looking down upon Mikel Arteta and Arsenal fans to try and help us a little bit, because he's carried it over again, hasn't he, into the next game. But again, you know, some of these players are not just out; they're going to be out for a few games. So, you know, jumping ahead, I just don't want to see. You know, when certain players are available again, as soon as they're available, I don't want to see him just marching straight back into the team, especially if we are still managing to continue the little run that we've now just started with 2 games in the Premier League. That would disappoint me if that happens. So, you know, I've seen a lot of people, especially after the Chelsea game, and there were some people that were like, almost saying like, you know, why are you happy? Why are you rejoicing? You know, have you forgotten? And I'm like, no, I've not forgotten. But if I'm taking it by game by game, on a game by game basis, right now, we just won a London derby.
Some people want to watch the world burn. They want negativity. They want this. They love this. That's why.
I was well happy because, again, you know, Chelsea's a team that I don't even like. You know what I mean? I don't like that team at all. So I was happy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Going into the game, I don't know, watch along with Claude and Terry. And I predicted that we were going to lose 2-1. I had no confidence going into the game, but by the end of that game, I was really happy. We needed something like this, you know, instead of scoring just with a penalty. We needed to score some goals in open play, you know. But there's also some low points as well, which I'm sure we'll go on to. It's not been a bed of roses. We can still see that there's a couple of things that aren't clicking. But I'm going to take the good times where I can right now, because looking at the Premier League table, where are we? 13th place?
Yep.
You want to quickly? I want to shout Mike's comment about Brazilians over the age of 25 that you just put up. That is a conversation that me and Mike will totally have in the after show, probably, because I don't want to get too into it. I don't want to lose viewers, but me and Mike will get into it and maybe share a beer over it. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.
No,
definitely a conversation saved for the after show for sure.
No, like Stan said, you know, and I actually put out the tweet earlier today. The world's a brighter place, and Rowan, it, you know, bask in the moment for now. This is 2 wins on the trot, 6 points. I would almost, not necessarily a happy accident that we beat Chelsea, but that's a good win. You know, that's a good team despite, you know, their inconsistencies, but that's a good place to start mounting the, I guess, comeback, if that's what we're doing here. So take it one day at a time. That's all we can do, and you know, enjoy the ride here. If there's negativity out there, I don't understand why.
Don't come to me then.
Absolutely agree. You know, a lot of times these happy accidents do happen, right? Don't we remember Coquelin coming back? You know, how did he come around? You know, there have been many times that our hands have been forced, be it the rise of Bellerin himself, who was again a forced move when Debussy got injured, or Marcus Rashford for that, for example, right? Like there are so many people, and this sort of happens. And, you know, this is the part of the game. And I would want to believe, because last time I said that maybe he's afraid of dropping Luis and Willian, given their clout in the team. And if the gods helped him in arriving with that decision, then I'm all for it. And, you know, it just wasn't a win, especially the Chelsea win was, first of all, I mean, there's so much reason to be happy. You know, we hadn't won a game in like 2 months. We were playing drab football. It was just, you know, I wasn't confident. You know, I was supposed to. I did watch that game with my Chelsea mate Jahad. You know, on we watched it together, and you know, I wasn't really up for it, and I wasn't expecting much. But the way that we played, it wasn't just the win, but the desire, the hunger, the whole gameplay, how we canceled them out. I didn't even know Timo Werner was playing. I didn't know when they swapped him out and when they got somebody else. Oh, I didn't know that Jorginho didn't start and he was there at the end. All of this I got to know when I watched the highlights. And boy, I watched the highlights like 5 times. Yeah. So you know, so all of that put together was something that we haven't experienced this season, you know, and then we took it over to Brighton. The first half today was not great. It was, again, it felt like, was that Chelsea game a blip? But what happened after that was, and this has happened in a few games, right? It happened maybe against, you know, a couple of teams in the past also, that we started the second half really well, 10, 15 minutes, and then Pepe gets a red card, or Xhaka gets a red card. But today we kept our nerve and the change. And in fact, like, this might shock you, but when I saw the team lineup, I was like, why isn't Lacazette playing? Why is Aubameyang starting? You know, I mean, this guy, Lacazette, that was the first game that I thought that he could run. He was running in that game, and he was running at a decent pace, Lacazette. That's been my problem with him. But in the last game against Chelsea, he was brilliant the way Lacazette was playing. I liked it. And I didn't think that he merited going out of the starting 11. And the change that he made, I was happy with that. I saw that a lot of people weren't happy that Martinelli was taken off. But we've got to remember that he's still nursing that injury. He's still come back. He had a big knock in that game as well, the game before Chelsea. So, you know, there's against City and stuff. So there's like so many reasons to be positive. And 6 points, it was massive. Now we were 14 points. Now we're 20. The last game that we played against Chelsea was not just the London derby, but it seemed like it was the match of 2 candidates, right? The top 4 candidates and the relegation candidates.
Can I ask you a question, Rohan? If had Martinelli, as you say quite rightly so as well, hadn't been nursing an injury, and you wanted to make a change to bring Lacazette on, would you have done a straight swap for Aubameyang, or would you have still moved Aubameyang over to the left to accommodate him?
He would have left Aubameyang up, but you know, the idea is for Martinelli not to be playing 60 minutes. I mean, I guess what he would have done was then put him get somebody else, put that person in midfield, and had to make 2-3 changes to, it wouldn't have been a direct swap. Well, it wasn't really because Martinelli was playing on the left, and then Lacazette came on, and Aubameyang went on the left. So, he sort of did that, but he would have had to maybe make one more move to come to that conclusion. But even taking all of these things into account, now we're 20 points. The next game that Chelsea have to play, I don't know if they're going to play that one, it's against City. They lose that one, we win our next game against Big Sam, who loves to play against Arsenal. We know that. So we have to get that win. But then we're 3 points of Chelsea, right? So things change really quickly in this league. And we just have to gain this momentum. These are fixtures that we have to sort of, capitalize on.
Here, Ryan, jump in there.
Yeah. So my beer, Gigawatts 3.0. I wish it was
that
Gigawatts.
Is awesome.
And it's got the DeLorean in it too. It's pretty sweet. I wish it was Gigawatts 6.0 for all of our 6 points. Because I feel like 121 point gigawatts to the tip of my. Never mind.
Great,
it's by
Scott. Great. That's all I'm going to say. Great, Scott.
But yeah, by Boundbrook, and they're in Sudfield, Connecticut. So yeah, cheers to that. Pop this open. Oh my God, it's all over me right now. Fantastic. Yeah. So you kind of said the positivity. I have beer all over my lap.
Amateur hour, man. Amateur hour.
Yeah, I know. I feel like it's soaked. So now bear with me. I know everyone's going to freak out in the chat, and you guys are probably going to freak out with me. So we beat Chelsea 3-1. First goal, soft pen. Second goal, free kick from Xhaka, probably 1 out of a million chance. Almost like winning the lottery. Third goal, Saka. Was it intentional? Was it not? I don't know. It could have been 3-2. They had a penalty. Leno came and saved the day. With all that being said, it's about time the ball bounced our way. We've had nothing but bad luck, just skimming the crossbar, doing this, doing that. It's all the people are like, oh, look at your 3 goals. As I just previously said, I don't care. I do not care. 3 points to Chelsea. We showed Fat Frank who's fatter, or I guess skinnier. I don't know. But
I don't know why everybody calls him Fat Frank, other than the fact that it's the dumbest nickname ever.
I don't know.
Frank Lampard was
a PH.
Your ass.
So to me, I don't know many Franks in my life.
Pretty hot.
If it's like a negative Frank, I call him Fat Frank, and if it's a cool Frank, I call him Frank the Tank. So yeah, like that balance. But yeah, I mean, I don't care. I like Rohan said, we played well. We showed the hunger. We showed the intensity. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. You could say luck goals all you want. I don't care. Saka meant to do it. Don't at me, bro. But I thought it was a great performance. I think Tierney played the pen well. I think he did what he's supposed to do, and it could be I think that's a foul anywhere on the pitch. So I mean, soft all you want. If it's a foul anywhere else, it's a penalty. Sorry. And yeah, and the Xhaka thing, I don't know if we'll touch too much upon, but I'm probably one of me and the Arse Bros in unison probably the last people are going to praise his good game against Chelsea, and we might get into that later, but I won't get into it now. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm a huge ESR guy. I've been banging his drum and other things for quite some time, and who knows? It could be the short shin guard. Jack Grealish.
I was going to ask you.
I might be into shins, guys. I'm not about ass or boobs. I'm about shins. I'm shins all day.
I don't really know. You've started. We're not even 20 minutes in, and you're already off the rails.
I'm shins. I'm a shin guy all day. But yeah, I mean, it's a great performance, and it's just something to build on, and I think that's the thing that we really haven't talked about, in our misery and doom and gloom days and all that. But, we need the ball. We just needed the ball to thank you. I appreciate that. We just needed the ball to bounce our way. And it finally did. And it was against a big team, a good team. and I'm happy. And we played well. I don't really care about this luck and everything. We played well, and I'm happy.
I think, you know, the Chelsea match, I really thought for the most part, with the exception of what maybe the first 10 minutes of the second half of that game, I really thought we were in control. And overall, over the last two games, I'd say about 125 minutes worth of pretty dominant football, I would say. I don't know what you guys think, Stan. I really thought we just kind of put it on Chelsea. Maybe take our foot off the gas at the end and take a break mentally, which led to the Abraham goal. The penalty, I'm not gonna burn Pablo Mari at the stake too much with this. I didn't think he had a horrible game. Don't like the penalty. Obviously, if Jorginho converts, that's much different. But I didn't hate it, and I thought the penalty was down more to Marie's legs than anything else. I think he was a little out of gas at that point and just kind of got caught flat-footed. But overall, we've put together two relatively dominant performances here. The first half today, notwithstanding, but take it away.
Yeah, I'd like to say a little bit more of Pablo Mari because I don't know really that much about him. The only concern that I have with him, from what I've seen, is if this was like Football Manager or FIFA, that one attribute that I'll be concerned with is his strength. He looks like that. If he gets clattered into, it could take him out of the game. He looks a bit frail sometimes when it gets a bit physical. But his movement looks pretty good. But I'm still seeing in portions of the game and in today's game, portions where we just there was a portion in the first half where we just kept kicking it back to the goalkeeper. And it's like, how many times does the goalkeeper need to have the ball passed back to him when it's not necessary? I know that we're playing it out from the back, but sometimes we're taking it to extremes. We're getting the ball just up towards the centre circle and then just whiffing it back to the goalkeeper. And I don't know. I don't want to see that anymore. You know, I just don't want to see that anymore. There's no need to put our goalkeepers under pressure all of the time. But I did enjoy the penalty save. You know, I don't expect goalkeepers to.
We saw the wrong goalkeeper.
I don't expect penalties, right? I expect the striker to get it on target. You know, not to kick it wide or kick it over. A striker or a penalty taker should get the ball on target. But I don't expect goalkeepers to save them. So if a goalkeeper can save one, for me, it's a bonus.
I celebrated that save. I celebrated that save more intently than I celebrated any of the three. Xhaka's goal, I scared the dogs. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when that ball went in, like, I jumped off the couch and I was fist pumping. But when Leto made the save, I was double fist pumping. Let's go.
Right. You just remind. I want to get it out of the way now because I'm not a Granit Xhaka fan in the slightest. But sometimes you have to give credit where credit's due. And it's been a long time since we've seen an Arsenal player hoofing a free kick, right? We don't get treated to that very often. So credit to where credit's due. I'm really glad that he got that goal. You know, it was an important goal to get, I think, as well.
Absolutely.
It happened, but it doesn't absolve any of his previous transgressions with me. But I'm glad for that particular moment for him. So credit where credit's due. And I would say again today, about decisive moments. Lacazette, who's had a bit of an up and down past couple of seasons, I would say. And at one point, you have to remember there was one point earlier in the season where he scored in 3 games in a run, even though he looked a little bit out of sorts and then was taken out of the team. And he came in the game today and was decisive. He didn't just come on and be another body. He came on and made a difference. And I'd go as far as saying that in the next game, that has to be rewarded with a start. And again, he's a player that I'm not one of his best critics. I'd like to see him move on and another striker come in. But looking on the balance of what's been happening, you've got to reward that by starting him in the next game. And I'm a little bit worried sometimes that Mikel Arteta is a little bit weird about when he decides to take players out and put them in. Sometimes there's been a few times, Nicolas Pepe, you know, he's had a really good game, and then the next game he's out.
Yeah.
So,
At the end of the day, for me, and I'm going to kind of circle back to something you said prior about Granit Xhaka, and Ryan, you even kind of touched on it as well. You know, look, if he's going to start, if he's going to get a shirt and he's going to get some minutes on the field, then I want him to play well. You know, and that goes for any of them. You know, short of being an absolute scumbag, you know, off the field, and I'm not gonna. You can.
No,
do
on the field
will,
too.
but,
On the field too is good.
Well, I mean, how much of a scumbag can you really be on the field without getting penalized for it? You know, I'm talking like in their personal life, that kind of stuff like that. You know, other than that, if you get a shirt, if the boss gives you a shirt and gives you time on the field, then I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a good game. I'm not out there like, oh man, it's, you know, Granit Xhaka, what's, you know, this sucks, man. I don't want to watch this dude. I'm like, you know, come on, man. Like, let's go. Like, have a good game for once. So kind of don't understand the, you know, I get the pessimism of it, but I'm not so doom and gloom all the time. I try to be more upbeat and whatnot. I want to shout out Tony Turner over here in the chat.
I was going to shout him out too. Tony, this is the perfect time because I'm going to totally shit on Xhaka right now. I don't care that he had a good game. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to get into it. He had a good game, but he didn't have a good game for us. He had a good game for himself. You know, when he was stripped of the armband, he came back, and his first 2 games back, he actually played pretty well. Everyone's like, oh, Granit Xhaka is so good. So what happens now? He gets a red card, gets arrested for 3 games, comes back and has a really good game. No. He should be doing this the entire time. He came back. He had a good game for himself. He did this for his ego, for his pride. Yeah, he helped us win, and I agree with you, Tanner. I do back the players to get a shirt. I was happy. I didn't pull sorry, Tony, I'm throwing under the bus just a smidge. I wasn't upset when Xhaka scored. I wasn't. I was happy. I was glad it was a nice kick. I don't even know exactly what I said, but I was happy. But you know, I want him gone. I don't want him near our team. I don't think he suits us. I don't think he played well today by any stretch of the imagination. He was probably the second worst player for me on the pitch, just my opinion. But you know, he played his game against Chelsea was because it was for his pride and for his ego. Nothing to do with the badge, nothing to do about Arsenal, this, that. It was for Granit Xhaka. And you know, take it for what it is. But I
don't want to do this all night.
That's all I wanted to say.
If they're playing for the pie in the sky, does it matter if they have a good game? Does it matter?
My point is he's not going to.
Hang on. In your mind, then the score was Chelsea 2. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 0, Granit Xhaka 1.
Yeah.
The actual score is like his own team.
No, like I said, I was happy when he scored. I'm not like certain people. I'm not going to say the name again, but you know, it was for his pride, for his ego, it was for nothing else. And he's not going to play better for here on out. I want to see the video.
Hang on, this is twice now that you've brought this up. You said it was for his pride and for his ego, but he scored the goal. So here's my question: that's because does it matter?
It will.
It doesn't matter. Like he scored. So if it would have been for the badge, but he hit the post and it doesn't go in, somehow that is that better?
My point is he's not long for the Arsenal world. He's not going to keep this up. He did this little he did it before when he had the whole thing about him stripping the armband and he told the fans to F off. He came back and he played 1, maybe 2 good games. I think we played Man City in like the FA and he had a good game, and I even admitted he had a good game. But like that's it. Like that's know,
it's 1 or 2 games, good games in 10, right? It was.
Who knows? He could have a good rest of the season and totally shut me up. I hope he does. I hope he does because I care about the name on the front, not the name on the back. So I don't care if Xhaka's wearing a shirt and he's putting in performances. Cool, shut me up. What did Emi Martinez last season do? He shut me up. I didn't want Emmy coming in. I wanted Matt Macy. It's for the record. Everyone can laugh at me, point at me all you want. But he shut me up, and I admitted I was wrong. On multiple podcasts, I admitted I done effed up. But Xhaka is not going to keep this up, and I hope he gets sold in January.
So
I had to.
No, yeah.
So it doesn't matter what he did that for, like you said, Tanner. Right? We can't judge intent, and some people might say that he's so intense and sometimes gets too riled up and gets those red cards because maybe he cares too much. That's a spin on it. But we don't know what he's about. What we can all agree on.
I have a weak heart, Rohan. Stop it.
He's not good enough. We've agreed on that. But Arsenal midfield is dead. Right now with the injection of ESR, right now it's looking better. But when I looked at the Man City game and I looked at El Nani sort of gone back to what El Nani, the $5 million El Nani who can just pass sideways or back. And there are videos of him where he's had clear passes and he still passed it back, right? Like the Man City game was, it was laughable the way that we played and the midfield was dead. So out of that bunch, if anybody has the potential to perform really, it's Granit Xhaka. And he performed really well against Chelsea. Not just the free kick. Don't also forget the ping for the first goal, right? The ball that he put in for the first goal.
For their goal, but no one talks about that though.
What was that? Wait, what was that, Ryan?
He messed up. So his defending was so bad, and he was very poorly positioned for Chelsea's one goal. I don't know who. I think it was Adoy or Abraham. He literally got caught. He got stuck in the mud, and he kind of did this Olay defense where he didn't want to foul him, so he just like, oh yeah, you can go through. That's cool because I don't want to foul you. And then he went right around him, and then he scored maybe 5 seconds later. But I agree. So again, for the Arse Bros, we do the +3, +2, +1, -1, whatever. I gave Xhaka a +2 for that game. I really, even with that mistake, which led to their only goal, I still thought he was really good. With the only person I got more was Saka. I thought Saka was man of the match for me. But yeah, I thought he played well. I think his passing was good. He showed a sense of urgency, which he hasn't shown before. And I think even without him having the ball, players were just making runs before the ball was before the ball even got there. Whereas normally we see players run to the ball, and Xhaka was playing Tierney well. Xhaka was playing Saka well. He had a couple great balls to Tierney in the first half. That I was like, okay, I like this. You're still the next Thursday, but yeah, I'll take this. Give it to me.
Even that game that he got the red card in, the first 15 minutes of that second half, he was linking up really well with this guy, with Tierney. But nothing came out of it, and he got the red card out of that, right? So it's time on time, right? You can't really. He had a good game, and we just stop it at that, right? He's not good enough.
Kind of.
And I want to shout out to Mike from the Gooners podcast. He has a comment up here, scrolling up, comparing Xhaka to Lee Gunner, and I think it's pretty perfect. Everyone views Lee Gunner very negatively, but sometimes Lee Gunner has a couple gems in his pocket. He was the one shouting about how Bellerin's been so bad for all these years. What?
I thought he blocked you.
Well, I was gonna say that later, but I'm saying Lee Gunner is notorious for slating Bellerin before Bellerin got hurt, before we kind of started slating him ourselves. So sometimes he's right every now and then, but he's still like the worst person ever to support our club. And yes, I include Piers Morgan in that conversation. But yeah, I wanted to also say thank you for bringing that up, Stan. I am also blocked by Lee Gunner, so I'm famous, and you all need to bow down. But yeah, no. So I think that's a great job.
You wear that badge with honor, my son.
I do. I love it. You could even ask everybody in the panel. As soon as I found out he blocked me, I posted it to our little chat we have, and I was giddy for a couple hours. I got to be honest.
I think the best one though was Gary when he was like, "Who's Lee Gunner?" Sincerely as well.
Yeah, I don't really want to go down the road of Granit Xhaka and how good
Please
he was.
don't.
I did. This was the celebration that I did when he actually did score. So yeah, see, whatever happens at the end of it, you sometimes have to be happy for your fellow player, right? I was happy for him that he was having a good game. It was a crucial moment just before halftime. He scored a worldie. It meant a lot to the team, and it was for Arsenal's cause at the end of it, right? I felt good about that. I felt good that there was the togetherness in the team, and they showed fight. I've said before that I felt like the team weren't playing for him, but in that game they clearly were.
To be fair, too, when Xhaka scored, I'll admit this. I didn't say this out loud, but the thought did cross my mind, and I was happy about it. We're going to get a little bit more money for him. This is good. He's up in value.
I mean, I like this. There's something to that, too, because if he's going to go, you want to get as much money for him as possible.
I'll admit that, though. I was happy in the moment that he scored. I'm not going to lie. But, kind of like when the other team was – when Chelsea were kicking off, I was like, nice, more money for Arsenal. Let's go. You got to look at the bright side of things, I guess you could say.
So, yeah, speaking of looking at the bright side and kind of trying to find the silver lining, the first half today was, so boring. I've had more entertaining poops than the first half of football today. That's not really, and it's not saying much. It's not saying.
I mean, you'd be surprised the excitement that I could put on the toilet. So we don't get into that.
So a lot of sideways, backwards passing. We'd get into Brighton's half, and then all of a sudden, just kind of stop. Nobody, guys are making runs, but it's a quick dart here, and there's no lane, no creativity. But then all of a sudden, second half,
I love you, Mike.
It's just completely different. I mean, just completely different. And the one thing that I noticed watching, especially Granit Xhaka and Mo Elneny, and I hate that Elneny has regressed back to the guy he was 2 years ago for us. Sideways, backwards passing.
Yeah, but come on, he can't be Elneny every single game. He's going to have an off game, and if you put it in if you frame his performances going back to pre-season, he's done pretty well for us. But today was his best game, but he still, for me, would get a 6.
Elneny or Xhaka?
Elneny.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that I don't.
He's still chasing people down, do you know what I mean? In an 87 minute.
Defensively, I really don't have an issue with him. I think he chases guys down. He can win the ball. It's once he gets the ball on his foot, he's almost like he's deer in the headlights. He doesn't quite know what to do. My only thing with him with the ball on his foot is he'll have 25 yards of space that he can run into, and he'll take 10 of it, and then he stops. And it's like, nobody came to you, nobody put you under pressure, but then you just stopped. Now, maybe the pass isn't there in front of you, but take the space you're given, and make a defender commit to you to try to open up a passing lane to move the ball forward. It's my biggest gripe with him, and it's my biggest gripe with Granit Xhaka. Xhaka, you'll never see a through pass from Granit Xhaka on the ground. Everything he does is lobbed in the air. He tries to get it over the top. That's Granit Xhaka.
Is there a case to be made though that the combination doesn't work?
Oh, I absolutely. I don't think
stars for us for the long term. So
and that right there, kind of to everybody's point that everybody wants Granit Xhaka gone, because I don't think he works well with anybody. He does not work well with Thomas Partey. We've seen that. He doesn't work particularly well with Elneny, and he and Ceballos are just a dumpster fire.
When did he play with Partey?
I think it was Thomas Partey's first game for us, and I can't remember for the life of me who it was again.
To be fair, I do want to see him with Partey if he's going to start. Because
they've played together, but he usually gets when Partey's come on as a sub, he got hooked for Partey to come on, and then in the next game, Partey started the game, and Xhaka was on the bench.
Right.
Could have sworn they played together.
So my thing,
I have had a couple of
So my thing with Elneny is I hate to say this because I love him, but he hasn't been good enough the last 2 games. But I think he just, while we were in our rut, I think he just kind of found his level, and I think he's just nervous and he's scared to take risks because I know he's like, listen, I'm in this team. This
is an interesting point from Ray Anderson.
I agree with Ray Anderson what he's saying, but I think he's just nervous because I think he just doesn't want to screw up. He doesn't want to risk his spot. I think he knows he's not good enough, and that's why, like, in my opinion, I think he's granted, I get it.
This is Arsenal Football Club, right? When we were playing against Manchester City, there were times when Elneny he could see on the right side that there were players here, but because the Man City had an overload on this side, there were runners who were going from the left, and all he had to do is turn his head to the other side and play a simple ball there. But he's been to this Dani Ceballos school of midfielder training, but only half of it, because he just makes that turn and then he passes back, while Dani Ceballos makes that full 360 turn and then does a wrong pass there. But at least he does that. So, there were times that he could have passed, and I'm not asking Elneny to make 50-yard passes or eye of the needle passes, but there were simple passes on, and he wasn't doing it. But I'm not going to slate him for that, because that's his level. But that being said, there was a great comment there that Elneny is a great player when he doesn't have the ball. So he's a great without the footballer.
It's a bit like Willian, isn't it? I still think that the last 2 games have probably been Willian's best performances for us so far.
That's why I think Elneny's a perfect squad player. He's someone you bring when you're up 1-0, 2-0. You bring him on at like the 60th minute, 70th minute, and you just have him chase the ball.
I was thinking. See, here's the other thing to me, though.
Ray said, recycle it.
And that's why I thought Elneny and Partey work so well together, because Partey can be the guy that carries the ball forward. Elneny's the guy that can win the ball. Partey's probably going to be relatively close to him, where he can make a fairly safe pass and let Partey do the legwork then, carrying the ball forward. But I was thinking that before you even made that comment, Ryan, that Elneny on this with where we think Arsenal should be.
And that's the thing too,
Elneny's
right?
a squad player at best.
We want to be a big club. We want to be top 4. We want to be Champions League. Elneny's not going to get us there. He's not going to keep us there.
But
we need center midfielders that could do what Partey's doing. Elneny does half the job, and we need someone to have the ball and be good with it, to be good without the ball. And like I said, I think that's why Elneny's the perfect squad player.
Well, it goes back to what Mike said, and then what you said. You bring Elneny's the kind of player that you probably want to bring on, at 70 minutes, 75 minutes, when you're nursing a 1-goal, maybe a 2-goal lead. You bring him on to really just lock it down and just say, okay, we're done. Wow, you really did get a lot of chocolate. And now you're just rubbing it in.
48 in this box, man. 48 Ferrero Rochers. So
again, though, shout out to Mike, Gooner's podcast. Check it out, great podcast. Obviously, I'm not saying anything crazy here. Elneny's great squad. I don't know if you want to put that comment up, Tanner, but about Elneny being a great squad player. I mean, it's dead on about AMN.
Yep.
I think we're sharing this. I won't go as far as saying spirit animal territory. I love you, Mike Hers. I don't know if you're watching, but I love you. And if you're watching after, love you. But Mike, me and you are just sharing a brain right now, and I love it. I love everything you're saying. So yeah.
Well done, Mike. Well done. Yeah, I know. Stan is teasing all of us.
Listen, Ryan, if you want to go on one of your long-ass monologues tonight, feel free, man, because I've got like a box of Ferrero Rocher here. So,
all right, where should I start?
Well, so yeah, that pretty much covers the 2 games. Lacazette look, I understand why he gets the flack that he gets from people. But I said this last week, and I think you guys pretty much agreed with me. But he works his ass off. Every game, that dude just works. And maybe he's not doing the work you want him to do, but he's still working. Because even Rowan and I, when we disagreed at the beginning of the year, when he was kind of playing that Jesus. I see you reacting, so I'm like, what is going on? Then I look to the comments.
It would appear that Mike shits gold paper.
Oh my!
I don't know from experience, but again, me and Mike sharing the same brain. I don't. There's going to be a show after this show. I'm kind of just killing the camera on one of the stations that we're being broadcast on, and just continuing on my channel when this is over. And I've been advertising, get weird. Oh, it's going to get down.
You guys are already like it's all like you're not going to have anything left. You guys are shooting your shot right now.
Oh, Tanner, you'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Don't tempt fate. Don't tempt fate. Anyway, Lacazette. We hit on it earlier. I can't remember if it was Stan or Rowan that said that he deserves to start the next game. I think Stan. I think that was you. Okay. But he cut for 48 seconds. He's on the pitch 48 seconds 21. And 41.
And 21.
21. 20, oh, wow. So cut it in half. Even better. And he scores. Now, Bukayo Saka, fantastic run. That kid just, when he went down, I was like, oh my God. I like just kind of the way he was rolling around. He wasn't holding his knee, thank God. But just the way he was rolling around, he was kind of smacking the ground. I'm like, oh, what did he do? But then, thank God, they cut to him sitting, up in the stands, and he had a smile on his face. And what's that?
You have an update on him? I'm actually gonna check right now.
I haven't seen anything, but he had a smile on his face when he was sitting when they took him off. So I would say that's a pretty good sign for things. But anyway, Alex Lacazette, dude, he just works, and he got rewarded against Chelsea. He gets rewarded today. Yeah. But the goalie needs to be rewarded on Saturday at the Hawthorns with another start, because there's something there right now that's clicking. Somebody in the comments said earlier that Aubameyang looks off, and he does. Now, that being said, Sam Greenwood, I think it might have actually been you that put the comment up. Let's not forget also that Aubameyang is coming back from a slight muscular injury, I believe.
So what was the excuse before the muscular injury? But
I'm saying if he looks slow right now, because I've seen this on more than one occasion. Like today, he just looked slow, like running. He just couldn't outrun anybody. He can outrun people. He just wasn't doing it today. So maybe there's still.
I don't really think he looked that slow. I think he doesn't press.
Nah.
He doesn't really show urgency. He doesn't fight for balls. When I don't know the Brighton players, but I think it was their right back had the ball, and Aubameyang was like keeping up with them, and he was just like, and it was almost like it almost was as if the right back, right wing back, I don't know who had the ball for Brighton, but it was almost as if he stiff armed Aubameyang, was like shoo fly, but Aubameyang he was just like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna let you do this. Yeah, I'm not here. I'm not good. And I guess the biggest problem with our team it's the biggest problem. Yeah, maybe you know what? Okay, Sam, maybe he was slow, but to me that wasn't his issue. His issue was he didn't press, he didn't fight, he didn't show that intensity, that hunger that Rohan was talking. Me and Rohan were talking about in the Chelsea game. He didn't show it. He didn't. He just wanted. Tony. He just wanted to get on the end of a ball, score a goal, end the drought. That's all he cared about. I want to finish. I want to score. I want to do that. He didn't want to work. I don't want to go into Oprah territory. But it sucks to say, because he did a really good job winning us an FA Cup. He's won a Golden Boot for us. I guess not for us, but he won a Golden Boot while playing for us. But to me, based on the way we're playing and based on system tactics, Lacazette's the better play here. I'm playing Lacazette all day long. Now, to be fair, I do want an upgrade on Lacazette. I do think we should try to sell him and get some money for him. But I mean, just his fight and his intensity is what we need, especially against a team like a Brighton.
So here's the thing I think about
really
Aubameyang that I've noticed, right? Maybe this is what it's about, right? Either Aubameyang needs to be in a team that's playing really well, or Aubameyang himself needs to play really well. If both of these things are not happening, he's not the guy who can drive the team, and he's not able to do that, right? He's not able to drive the team. He's not able to do that, which is why at the beginning of that second half, when he had that shot, which was less of a save in my opinion, and it sort of hit the goalkeeper from 4 yards out, I was hoping that it would go in, because that would have given us the lead. It would have given him a goal, and maybe that more would have come out of it. Today he did look slow, because there was one time that he played the ball ahead and he tried to run across the defender, but he just couldn't. Those are situations that I back Aubameyang to get to the ball, but he couldn't do that. But there were also times that he was making runs, especially in the second half. There was one time that he made the run and Xhaka put his hand up because he recognized that there was a run, but unfortunately it was on his right foot, right? He gets only paid to play football with his left foot, so he did not play that ball. So, there's a lot of things going into it, but definitely, Lacazette merited the start. In fact, I wasn't sure why Aubameyang started and why he was directly into the team when the team did so well against Chelsea. So yeah, that's.
So real quick, to Rowan's point, let me pose a question here. Just kind of hit me spitballing. Did Aubameyang get to start today as I started Lacazette last week. I'm going to start Aubameyang this week, and I'm going to see which one molds better, meshes better with the three playing behind and around them, meaning Martinelli, Saka, and ESR. So is it let's see who does better, and then we get Lacazette again at the Hawthorns on Saturday, on merit, because he's got 2 goals in the last 2 games, but also because he just meshes better with the younger players. And I want to come back to this, so I'm going to leave this up on the screen because that is tremendous. I want to come back to that. Stan, I know you wanted to say something, so go ahead.
I just think that first of all, I'm with Mike. I don't believe there was any thigh injury at all. I think if I was to pinpoint the part of the season where Aubameyang lost his pace, it was probably just as the ink was drying on that new contract that he signed. I just don't buy into any of it. Do you know what I mean? I don't buy into that players all of a sudden lose pace just like that. He's not showing any interest for me. Yes, there are some times when he makes a couple of runs and you got players like El Neni that will do a sideways pass. And it's probably because a player like El Neni just doesn't have the vision to see that the run is being made. I don't believe that he sees the run being made and thinks, I can't make that pass, so I'm going to kick it sideways. He just doesn't look for it. He doesn't look for that run. And that's probably why El Neni, as I say, is probably 75%, 80% of some of the better players that we have on the team, technically. But the difference being El Neni gives us 100% of that 80%. Right? That's where the difference is. But over Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, I don't know what's going on there. I believe that I don't believe there was any kind of a thigh strain at all. I think that they just had to take him out of the firing line for a while, but they also wanted to save his embarrassment, as he is the captain of the team, remember, and is one of our highest, paid players. He has authority. He's a senior player, and I don't want to embarrass him. He's not going to throw him under the bus like he would to a Guendouzi or a Pepe, because this is a seasoned player. We've had this experiment now. Everyone was crying out that we play Aubameyang through the middle. You were. I was. Let's try it. Pundits were. Is it really working? I understand why Martinelli got taken off today, because he's nursing an injury. But had he not been nursing an injury and he had taken off Martinelli to keep Aubameyang in the team, then I wouldn't have been happy. Because the difference between those two players are quite simple. Martinelli makes things happen for himself, whereas Aubameyang needs things to happen for him. And that's the difference. That's the kind of the difference in the mindset and the personality of two players that we have on our team. Martinelli is so direct, he will make things, he will try to carve it out for himself. Whereas Aubameyang is quite happy to come out of a game and say, well, what do you expect? I didn't get any service.
Right.
I just want to quickly, shout out Richard Francis saying Lacazette plays with more urgency, but he struggles with scoring headers. Lacazette's 5'7", 5'8", so yeah.
So the only way he's winning a header
is if it bounces off his
is against a band of midgets. Am I allowed to say midgets? Short people?
But, okay,
vertically challenged, perhaps.
But I will say quickly to what Stan's saying, if you look at all of Martinelli's best games, you'll notice something. Aubameyang's not playing. Martinelli has his best games without Aubameyang. They can't. I don't know what it is.
You know what?
They find a way to play together. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But if you go back and you look, Aubameyang's not there. So something needs to be said because Martinelli's. You could say Saka, but Martinelli's probably like our star of the future. I mean, Saka's kind of already getting there, but Martinelli, everyone's putting hopes and dreams on him. And Aubameyang is kind of did it, been there, done that, and like we still think he could do it, but he hasn't. So you really want to almost have Aubameyang almost hand the torch off to Martinelli, and maybe do some cool things together. But I don't know. I don't know why they can't play together, but it's not working, and something needs to be figured out.
Go ahead, Ron.
So one thing that I like about this team, which we weren't doing for a while, and the last few goals that I try to remember that we've scored have not been because we've done intricate passing or we've, sliced the team through the middle or something like that. It's because players, especially Saka and now Smith Rowe, have taken other players on. They've gone through they've ridden 1, 2, 3 challenges and then either been fouled, which was the Xhaka goal where Saka got fouled and he won the free kick for that, be it the goal that we scored in the Southampton game in which he went across and then Nketiah played the ball for Aubameyang to score, or be it today's goal in which again there was that run. The finish was the finish and the finish was calm, and it was great because sometimes Lacazette frustrates because he gets that opportunity, either he swings his leg and then the ball would hit his standing leg and he'd completely miss it or something like that, but he really the way he took that shot, or he'd fall over or something like that. But today the way he took that shot was great. But it was because these guys were making those runs, right? And that's the place where Lacazette plays well, because now we've got runners. Now we've got willing runners in the team. ESR, Saka, Martinelli. So what we need in the middle is the guy holding it up and passing the ball, the guys who are crossing him. Aubameyang isn't going to do that. Aubameyang himself wants to be in the middle and he wants to be in the box. So that's why Lacazette maybe is better suited for these youngsters, especially with a guy playing in the middle. As long as you play Aubameyang in the middle, maybe he sort of gets in the way of these other guys. So that's why I propose that when we've got this thing going, we shouldn't. The issue with Arsenal fans is that 1 week these guys are the best players in the world, the next week they are not good enough, and we just need to get rid of them, right? So there needs to be some sort of reality check. Either they're the best talents in Europe, or they're worthless and they're not worthy of even the championship. So now we need to level expectations. But on that note, what we also need to do is right now, when they're in good form, their spirits are high, they're performing well, you need to reward them and you need to give them the tools to perform. Right now this team is being run by those youngsters, and the youngsters work well with Lacazette. So play Lacazette.
So here's the thing as well. I don't believe that Emile Smith-Rowe was a better footballer than Willian. It can't be, just because of the experience, the things that Willian has done, the situations that he's been in football games, maybe in cup finals, trying to get through a semi-final, all of these things. But the difference is, right now, Emile Smith-Rowe, he has the desire.
I will say one thing.
That's the key difference. And we've got that in a few positions on our team. Yeah? We've got players in our team that are better than other players, but they don't have the desire than the player that's maybe a younger player or a player that just maybe has less ability, just because that's where they are. But they're not showing the desire, and that's the problem. And they're the ones that have got to go. Ozil.
That's been
Willian. David Luiz. These players have just a Xhaka. Players that don't show any consistency. And Ryan hit the nail on their head with Granit Xhaka. He goes through his petulant stages, whereas an incident is petulant, is either telling us to fucking fuck off or whatever. And then he comes back and he puts in a couple of performances. And did you not notice as well? I'm not all. Some people are really wrapped up in apologies. He didn't apologise for this. He didn't apologise for that.
Yeah, what did he say? He tweeted something.
But he was like, people talking. He was quite, rather than just getting on and talking about the game, he made a big deal about, the fans and their opinions. And that's the one thing that I don't like. If you don't want to apologise, and you don't want to do that, because that's not, I would rather someone didn't apologise than apologise and it's not meant. They're just paying lip service. I prefer someone to be real. But if he doesn't want to apologise, leave that whole subject alone. Don't even go there. Don't even go there. But to start going, well, yeah, I scored the free kick and I've heard all these people, because it's only going to last for a couple of games, and then the effort's gone again. You go back from getting a match 8 rating to just going to getting 4s and 5s again. So it doesn't hold any. It's hollow words for me. It's hollow words. I can't even remember where I was going now, but.
Well, I will. Well, I'm kind of what you were talking about with Willian and ESR. The one thing I will say is I do believe Willian is technically a better football player than ESR.
Yeah,
I think ESR, his intelligence, the way he reads the game, I think is the best we've seen in quite some time. I think the way the runs he makes, where he knows where to go, he knows where to be. And just his intelligence on the pitch, I think, goes unmatched.
He's hungry, right? He's hungry for it.
Yeah, but I think he just reads the game. I think he reads the game very well.
He comes across that. He looks at the team sheet, and if he sees us in the team, he's like, oh, I've got to go and play for 90 minutes. Do you know, maybe, I'm not saying that he does that, but that's the kind of projection that you get. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just going through the motions, and do you know what I mean? Win, great. Lose, doesn't matter. Probably get picked again next week. Do you know what I mean? Gonna go home now. Do you know what I mean? Gonna lie on a big pile of money. It's just all bullshit. Whereas someone like ESR, do you know what I mean? You believe it. When you see him play, you believe it. You're like, you're with him.
The real question,
you want to be right down there with him, sort of thing. You believe what you're seeing.
The real question,
I don't believe any of them anymore.
Yeah, that's the real thing, right? When Willian's back, when he's fit from his illness, it's going to be, is he going to get the start? Is he going to play?
I don't shower regularly. I don't use good personal hygiene.
I thought of that when I did that.
That's exactly what I heard when you said that. I don't use deodorant.
But yeah, I mean, that's the test, because there are rumors out there that are saying that Arteta is unhappy with Willian. And he wants to get rid of him, and he wants to bring in, I forget the person. I think the guy is the guy from Barcelona. I don't even know who it was, but it was in the same tweet. But I mean, the only thing you do is just, see if this, feeds Willian and kind of gives him hunger. And the one thing I will say, kind of going back to the Chelsea game a little bit, and I'm not going to say Willian was going to play better. I'm not going to say we won because Willian wasn't. Yeah, that is fantastic. Was in the squad, but. And there's a thing with American football. I don't know how much it translates. I think it translates a little bit to our football. But, you know, when former players play against their old team, it's like a revenge game. And like, I'm a big fantasy American football guy, and I play that. If I know a guy's going against his former team, I'm starting him every week because they always put up numbers. They always do. And I do think, part of me, I want to think that anyway, because he is an Arsenal player and he is wearing an Arsenal shirt, and I want to support all my guys. Maybe not Xhaka, but whatever. But I would like to think he would have had a really good game against his old team, especially a team that like didn't really want to, like, they wanted him, but they weren't willing to, you know, do what they wanted to do to make him feel happy, to make him feel good. And that's to me, as a, you know, not even to me, but just you, if you're a professional player and you're with the club for X amount of years, and like it's pretty much your team, and you want to stay with that club, and he's like, yeah, I just have these, you know, little demands because they sound little to you. Maybe to the club they're a lot bigger, and they're like, no, we want you, but we don't want you that bad. To me, it's the same as saying we don't want you. Period. Exclamation point. Get out of our club. So with that, I think that's the kind of hunger he needed, and I think he could have had a good game. Again, I'm reading too much. He didn't play. It is what it is. But
doesn't that not make it worse? You've got, you know,
in a way it does. But again,
the shit performances that he's put in this season.
Exactly.
And
no, I agree.
He scores a goal and creates 2 goals in a Chelsea game. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, but again, it goes back to my original point. It goes back to my original point where now that ESR has took his spot, and or Saka, whoever you want to say took the spot because the formation and tactics are all different and changed, they both played better than him than the 2 games, so whatever. Did he learn from anything? Did he, oh, well, these guys are chomping at my heels. I'm starting week in and week out, but now that I'm sick, I come back. Like I need to excuse my French, but shit or get off the pot, you know? And it's, what are you going to do? You know, you have to do something. And I think it's vital. And I kind of almost want Willian to start like a game or 2, you know, when we play like a Newcastle, who's kind of not done as well as they should have been doing, and just see what he could do. So we could kind of be like, oh, okay, that's who you really are. You're not good enough. You need to like, excuse me, sir, you drank too much alcohol. You need to leave. I don't know that from experience, but like, I would think that's how people talk to other people when they drink too much.
Anyway, let me get Stay Fresh's super chat in here. Thank you very much for the kind donation, Stay Fresh. Why are we just using a 10 now and the manager is strolling around like that's how he's always played? We have sustained attacks now, more chances. I think, and this is just me, but I just think this is a case of a young player, a talented young player, taking the bull by the horns and saying, okay, I'm gonna make it very hard for my manager to justify dropping me from the lineup at this point. And also let's consider that Smith Rowe and Martinelli they're playing together. So I think there's something to be said there as well. I don't know that Smith Rowe plays this well. And he hasn't done anything. He's not been earth shattering. Like, he's not setting the world on fire.
I thought he was really good today.
He has been really good. I'm just saying, like, you know, he nothing flashy. He's doing what somebody in that role, in that position, should be doing. He's not just standing around. And the thing that I'll say,
his jersey when he got subbed off today, if you noticed it was covered in brown and green. It was covered in grass and dirt because he fought tooth and nail for that ball. He was all over the place. He was getting fouled. He was doing everything he could to get that ball. And I think that's the difference too, because you can say maybe Willian's older. I don't know, but you know, in ESR's game against Chelsea, he ran the most kilometers in the entire first half.
The one
and
thing.
That's what we need. We need a guy that's going to run back and forth. And I don't know the numbers from today's game, but I'm sure he ran a heck of a lot. Well, Willian is just not going to do that. That's not how he plays. That's not our DNA, and we need that. We need that guy in the middle of the field that's going to run back and forth and back and forth, and we don't have that. You think Shotgun's going to do it?
Well, Willian
won't do it well.
Let's make this the last that we mention his name, because the fact is, as Stan said earlier, he's had his best 2 games against Chelsea and today against Brighton.
He wasn't even good. I gave him a -2.
So no, Willian.
Is that in the transfer market? We know now that if we're playing in this kind of a formation, which obviously I think Mikel Arteta does want to play before at the back if he can, and having seen what ESR can do, it's obvious now, I think, that when we go into the transfer market, That's the position that we need to be buying for. And Emil Smith-Rowe needs to be the backup for someone who's experienced in that role. Because Emil Smith-Rowe can't play for the whole season every game, right? And he's still young and he's still learning. As competent as he's looking, I think that we need to be having someone in now who's got experience in that role that Emil Smith-Rowe will rotate with, and also have an opportunity to learn his craft from as well.
Let me ask a question along those lines.
Soft tissue injuries.
So I may have mentioned this like really early on, like in one of the very first shows we did, because we were talking about transfers. We started, kind of right in the the middle of the summer transfer window. So with this attacking midfielder role that Smith-Rowe finds himself in, that was supposed to be Mesut Ozil, we kind of never really replaced him, but now we have Smith-Rowe. So do we go and do we get a player? So I put out a poll about it, and I probably should have clarified what I was asking, because I got a lot of comments about like not buying somebody, and that wasn't what I meant. Do we invest in the position? Meaning, do we invest in the? I'll explain it in a minute. Let me ask the questions. Do we invest in the position, or do we invest in one player? In other words, if we have, let's say we have 70 million to spend, do we take that 70 million and spend it on two players in the attacking midfield role, or do we spend it on one player and say, okay, you've got the job? Do you know what I mean? So with Smith-Rowe, I actually disagree. I want to give the job to Smith-Rowe, and I want to bring someone in to back him up. And basically it's kind of like this. I at this point, I'm kind of like, throw him to the wolves. Like, I mean, if he doesn't play against the Liverpools, the Cities, I struggle to say that there's anybody better than those two, despite where City sit in the table right now. But if he doesn't play against Liverpool, how's he ever going to get to the point of where we're comfortable to say, go play against Liverpool? You know what I mean? So to me, bring in a player, but maybe in the next 5 months, they rotate based on fitness, based on form. But I don't want to go out and buy somebody better than Smith-Rowe right now. I want Smith-Rowe to grow into the role. So I want somebody to come in and push him. And I think that will make him better. So
see, I don't think it matters. You're saying like, oh, I don't want to buy something better than ESR, but like if we could, again, this is just devil's advocate. If we could get someone technically better than ESR for 15 million, 20 million, we're gonna do it. We're gonna bite off the hand. To me, it's not about, do we want to get someone better than ESR to play in front of him and he can learn, or do we want someone to back up ESR? To me, it's not the argument. It's who can you get as an attacking midfielder that can help this team for the right amount of money, and then if you get like a list of, let's just, for an example, you get 3 guys, A, B, and C, and 2 of them are better than ESR, but they cost a lot of money, and C is dirt cheap but worse than ESR. Then you could have an argument. But to me, it's all about, you need the bang for your buck. You need what's going to give you the best chance to win with this football club. And if that means, what's up, Greg? Maybe we'll play some Apex later. But anyways, what that means is you gotta just, I don't even see, Greg, you're distracting me. I don't like this at all. You're a bad teammate. But my point is you need to see what's going to give you the best bang for your buck. It does not matter if they're better than ESR. It does not matter if he's worse than ESR. We just need to invest smart, because we haven't been doing that. We haven't sold smart. We haven't bought smart. So obviously, what's going to say us from starting that, from doing that now? But it's just something that we need to be conscientious of and not worry about, should we get someone better than ESR, worse than ESR, same as ESR for rotation? No. I care about bang for my buck. That's all that I'm concerned about at this point, because we need to sell. And sell.
And those in the chat box, I keep seeing Isco's name coming up, man. I mean, The only thing that Isco has got going for him, right, is that he's got a really fancy short 4-letter name. That sounds like a really cool Brazilian. Isco is the shit, right? He's the absolute fucking shit, right? And let me just tell you, right, some of his stats, right? 2015 to 2016, right, he played 31 games. He scored 3 goals and had 7 assists. Not bad on the assist level. 2016, 2017, 30 games, 10 goals, 8 assists. That's not bad at all. But then 27, 2018, he had 30 games, 7 goals, 7 assists. The next season, 27 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. The next season, 2019, 2020, 23 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. This season, 10 matches, no goals, 1 assist. I don't understand why everybody thinks that Isco would be the answer. We would just be saddling ourselves with another Mesut Ozil, in my opinion.
The only thing I will say that I did see on
doing at all, because his wages ain't going to be cheap, man. I mean, it's all this Real Madrid pedigree. They don't want him at Real Madrid for a reason. It's not good enough.
Right.
The only thing I will say in response to that is the one thing I did see on Twitter that I don't want to say I was like, oh, let's buy Isco then. But the one thing I saw, I was like, all right, you're interested in me a little bit would be, I forget who tweeted this, but they said, if you were, I mean, again, hindsight 2020, but if they came up to you and goes, hey, we're going to buy Isco, we're going to get Isco on loan for 6 months, just for rotation, and we're going to invest and buy an attacking midfielder. Would you then get a loan for Isco? I still probably lean toward no. But like that, to me, that's the only thing that interests me. To me, I want rotation for ESR. That's right now. That's what I'm focused on. I want to play ESR and I want to rotate because he's had so many soft tissue injuries in so many different areas of his body that he needs rotation. I'm telling you, the game. If we don't get rotation for him, I'll get into Bendoya in a minute. But if we don't get a replacement for ESR and Arteta's like, oh, cool, he's doing his job. Play. And he gets hurt. I don't think you'll ever see me matter. I'm going to be furious. We need rotation for him because I think he has the ability. I think he's smart enough to hang with the big boys. Yeah, I don't even know. He's a guy from Norway, right? But I don't think his body is going to let him play a full season, 90 minutes in, 90 minutes out. I know he's been subbed off, but I don't think his body's going to handle it because his body's not used to playing so much because his body's been hurt so many times. And the thing I will say about Bendoya, fudge, I fucked his name up. Anyways.
Buendia. Say good day in Spanish.
Is that when the going gets tough for Norwich, he does not show up. He is someone who kind of throws his toys out of the box when things aren't going his way. The last few games, he hasn't been playing for Norwich. I don't know if anyone, or maybe it was like last season. I don't know. But I know – no. Excuse me. Sorry. The last 4 games of the Premier League, when Norwich were already like going down, he conveniently got sent off for a stupid, silly foul. I don't remember what it was. But he quit. He quit on the team when it's like, all right, well, we're going to go down. So he quit. Granted, I don't expect to be in that spot, but I don't want someone that's already shown his colors. I don't want someone that's already shown that he wants to quit on the team.
And I would say that's exactly the same as Awar as well. They're good time guys. They're good time guys. When things are going really well, they're the best to have around. But when it's time to get your backs up against the wall, they're so negative. They drag everyone down. Do you know what I mean? Everything's like, woe is me. We don't need those kind of players around.
And that's why I'm so big on
the biggest one, fucking Diego Costa. I mean, that I was absolutely fucking horrified that we're being linked to that fucking pensioner. I mean, have we not learned anything from fucking bringing in Luis and fucking Willian? And I really hope that is clickbait and the biggest laugh going, because I'll tell you now, right? If we sign Diego Costa, I'd have to write a strong letter to somebody.
Very strong letter to someone somewhere. you're going to get a very terse writing from me.
So
Right.
it's weird, right?
Listen, I'll say this: Diego Costa, I'd have taken him when he went to Madrid.
Exactly.
I'd have taken him then. If I were going to take him, I'd have taken him then, because that dude would have brought one thing to this club. Oh yeah, that's the dude that you don't want to fight like that. He'd rip your head off and shit down your neck for fun. For fun.
Yeah,
we're gone now, right?
It's done. Yeah, so there's
downward trajectory yet again of a player that would be coming in on a lot of cheese, hell of a lot of cheese, and we'd probably do something stupid again, like give him a fucking 3-year contract.
Yeah, Stan, he's the perfect. I don't know what you guys are crazy. This is the perfect signing for Arsenal. He's over 30.
Oh,
he's a former Chelsea player. He's looking to retire. Arsenal retirement home FC is just it's the perfect spot for him.
Would I bring him in January until the summer, and a deal like that? Maybe.
It's weird.
A very short deal like that. Maybe he might have something to prove, but going out and giving him something like a 3-year contract and all that bollocks like we did with Julian, that's no.
I just don't want him because he'll take playing time from Balogun.
Yeah, I hate him. I hated him in Chelsea. I couldn't stand him. He I saw red when I watched him on the field. Just the dirt baggery, the whatever you want to call it. He was just a nasty. But
he was the dude that if he'd have been at Chelsea, or if he'd have been if he'd have been with us, you'd been like, yeah.
I don't think so. You say that. I don't know. I can't put myself in those shoes because he didn't play. So
you would rather.
He's just
a
horrible
guy you would rather. In his prime, he's a guy that you'd rather have him playing for your team than against
playing
right?
against.
And just think about this, right? Chelsea have had shit luck with their number 9s for years, right? Like, right after Drogba till Costa, and then even after that, Timo Werner is just not showing up, right? And Costa hit the ground running when he came to the Premier League. That guy was something else. He was the Drogba type player who'd pull the team and play really well. And even if he wasn't scoring, his attitude was top notch for the team. But now he's washed up. So let's get that out of the way. And I want to address the first question that you asked, Tanner, which is, what sort of player would you buy? And whether it should be a backup to ESR or whether it should be someone who should be taking playing time. See, and I feel like if I give the wrong answer, Stan is gonna he's gonna click the door and I'll be gone. Let's take it to the crocodiles and the floor, right?
I'm having what you would call a Blofeld moment.
So here's the thing, right? Now for years we've been compromising on talent. I don't want to get shitty players just to fill up the roster, right? What we need to get is quality.
Why would we do that anyway?
What we need is quality, and we need, if we want to be a good team, now that we can get rid of big wage bills, we need to get hungry players. But what we also need to get are players who we're proud of, that they can play in the first team, right? We just don't need bodies in there. We don't need passengers in the team. We need players who can give competition. And when they come into the first team, we don't see he's an El Neni who can just do the job, that sort of thing. And no dirt on El Neni, because at that point we had that sort of midfield that we could get an El Neni who was, that utility man. At that point we had your Ramsey, Jack Wilshere, Cazorla, Ozil, all of these guys. So it was okay to have an El Neni, but not at this moment. Now what we need is quality. We need to aspire now this summer to become a big team, to become a team like City, to become a team like Liverpool, right? Who have competition all over. They're not convinced that they just have, because I have, Sterling and I have, this guy, Bernardo Silva, I'm not going to get a Mahrez. No, I'm going to get him. And I'm going to get Fernan Torres as well, and I'm gonna get some other guy, and I'm gonna fill this up, bolster it. That is why they keep winning the Carabao Cup, because their C team could challenge for the Champions League spots, and that is the place that we want to be, right? Why would we try to get mediocre players to back up a 20-year-old unproven player? And that player is just going to be what? He's just going to be a passenger, a Cedric, You don't want those signings.
I mean, what can Emil Smith Rowe, at the stage he is in his career, teach a younger player right now? I think that he's a very good prospect, but he does need someone, I think, who's a little bit older, that he can learn off, and he can rotate and fight. Keep that person on their toes. Do you know what I mean? Be good competition for it. But I don't think that we should be throwing him in now and saying, hey, right, this is your position, and we're going to now go buy a backup for you. I don't think he's quite at that stage yet.
And Smith Rowe is 20 years old. Even if we get a guy in his prime, say a 26, 27-year-old, he's going to have enough time to grow and to get into that team. If he gets, I'd be happy if Smith Rowe for the next 2 seasons gets maybe 20 to 25 games, in and out, a few substitute appearances, cup appearances, things like that. That's what is required, instead of, just banking our hope on a youngster who's got an injury record, a history of injury, and who's played 2 games for us, and we're hyping him up so much that we're saying that now he needs a backup. He needs this is like, I'm a first-year associate and I get a secretary on the first day. You don't do that, right? Like, you are the secretary on that first day. What office runs like that? But this is typical Arsenal Football Club, where we think that this was Wenger's mentality, and I could understand that he said that I couldn't get a Xabi Alonso because that would have hurt, Aaron Ramsey's, his growth, etc. But we're not at that stage, and we don't have that sort of roster where we've got that sort of midfield. Our midfield is dead, and we need to bolster it which is a good thing, because we can actually, fill it up with quality players and not passengers.
I'm confused, Ryan. So you want someone younger than ESR, or you want an
older
guy?
I want someone older who can teach ESR something, and who can a mentor, and who can come in and out of the team, who's some person that we are happy with for that person to be in the first team. It shouldn't be just a passenger, some guy that we signed at the end of his career, another Willian sort of a signing. No, that's not what
Isco.
The only reason why I disagree with you guys is because all of the guys we signed in to bring in as older to mentor, they just see it as, oh yeah, like I'm a substitute teacher and I'll teach ESR, but I'm gonna just sit on my retirement fund because I'm tenured at this school, and I'm just gonna hang out. I'm gonna blow bubble gum, put my feet on the desk with my Skechers and my orthotics in, and just chill and read the newspaper while these kids go crazy. We're not in that spot to do that. We need somebody that's going to do the job. We need what I call bang for your buck, and I kind of did like a little humping motion. But I think I guess maybe I'm alone with this. I think ESR is one of the most, if not the most, intelligent football player at Arsenal. I know it's a big statement, and I always make big, stupid statements, but I'm gonna put my flag in the dirt and say that I think ESR intelligently is just light years ahead of this club as a whole, and I just think it's his body that I'm worried about. It's his injuries, and I need someone that can rotate with him that'll just put the effort in that he could put in. Because I do think ESR is a talent, and I think intelligently he is just so smart. He's doing even the Chelsea game. I don't think he was the best player by any stretch of the imagination, but the little things that he was doing on the field were just mind-blowing to me, and things that we haven't seen from this team the entire season. And he was just allowing so many other players to excel. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm tooting his horn after 2 games. But I've seen this. I've watched him in the U23s. I've seen him play for a couple of years now, and I'm always talking about older men and Ryan. I'll get to that later, Mike. But I've always been big on ESR, and I think we just at this point, you know, and kind of I don't think any offenses, Lone Star Londoner, but like I'm actually gonna sort of agree with him and say we need players that are gonna play for the badge. End of. I don't care if he's better than ESR, worse than ESR. I need you to play for the badge, and I want to spend as little money as we can to get you. And you need to be maybe better than sorry, Egyptian God on the NA. You need to be better than on the NA. And like you pass those 3 requirements, you know, I'll toss you a shirt. Welcome to the club.
Okay. I wasn't expecting him to stop there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I figured we had another at least 7 minutes to go before he was going to stop. The thing for me with ESR and the player that's going to come in and mentor him, so on and so forth, I just don't think that player's out there. I think if you have to go outside of the club to find that player ideally would have been Mesut Ozil. But if you have to go outside the club to find a player that's going to come in here, and your hope is that he's going to mentor his replacement, footballers just don't think that way.
I would have. What does mentorship mean? I don't want someone to come in and stand at the whiteboard and try to teach him stuff. I want some guy who can play really well, from whom this guy can see and learn. So some guy who plays well, plays for the badge, and is in his
there's the other caveat.
The perfect scenario for me would have, if we'd maybe had the 38 million and bought someone like that Donny van der Beek, who's not getting used at Man United in the slightest, and is a very, very, very good player in that role. You bought him.
Sam, you watch your mouth.
And now you have someone like ESR.
Watch your mouth, Sam. I know where you live. Now you don't.
He's on the bench, and he's coming on, you know, maybe after 70 minutes, you know, something like that, to come on. And in certain games, he's starting to give Donny a rest. That would have been a perfect scenario for me. That would have been a perfect scenario.
Yeah, no.
I mean, right now, like I said, Aouar's not that. He's not that player because he's just getting into the peak of his career.
You know,
and now with everything that I've heard about him since the start of the season, really don't know that I want him. So I'm kind of glad we didn't get him. That's why I say I kind of want somebody. We need to bring somebody in to spot Smith Rowe, ESR.
And like Rohan says, it doesn't have to be someone that has to stand at a whiteboard. And Donny van der Beek is not an old guy himself, but he's won the league in his country. So he knows what it takes to win a league, right? He's been all the way to the final in the Champions League. So that's the kind of experience that I'm talking about. And just by the way he plays, that's someone that ESR can watch.
What did United pay for him?
38.2 million.
You know what? Let me. Okay, so Stan, I already know your answer. Ryan and Rowan, would you give United 38.2 million for Donny van der Beek to come in
right now?
Right now. In other words, you just go to United and you say, "Look, you guys aren't really using this guy. We'll give you exactly what you paid for him. Give him $1 million more just to entice them." I mean, because they
give them £1 more. That's the one, right?
What's that, Stan?
We give him £1 more. Come on,
£1. Yeah, we'll give you £1 more.
I see. I would, but I'm not because I don't know. I just care so much more about thinning out our roster. We have so many extra people. I just want to sell. That like I'm not even thinking about that. But I guess like if you told me like, oh, we're gonna sell people, would I then do it? Yeah, I would. But like I don't care about like I guess my mindset is just sell. I don't care. I don't care about these buy ESR replacement, even though I really want one. Yeah, our roster is so bloated. We need to sell. I don't think we emphasize this enough. Or I know I try to, but we just need to sell. And
basically, you know, the money we got for Iwobi was more than what we could have had change. 2 million in change if we spent that on Van der Beek, you know. Another player, again, in that similar role, is Hakim Ziyech injured? Or why is he not playing for Chelsea? Is he injured or what?
He's injured.
He's injured.
He did his
Hasn't been fully fit since he got to Chelsea.
Okay.
Because he played well.
I almost forgot he played for Chelsea.
Yeah, he really did.
Until you brought it up. Yeah, I'd completely forgotten.
And he played really well actually for those games that he did play. He seems to have that Mahrez sort of like wand of a left foot. But
again, wasn't that like a 25 million buyout clause? Cheaper than Van der Beek, wasn't it?
Cheap, yeah. And when he played, he looked like the most threatening, much more than Havertz and any of the other guys.
This is the thing, we limit our scope, right? We see these players are available, and we're talking about players that have got buyout clauses. And I'm telling you now, because I lived in Amsterdam for many, many years. A player playing football in the Eredivisie with a buyout clause, if a team like Arsenal came along, he'll snap their hand off. You know, because the wages in the Dutch league is extremely low, you know, very, very low. And the sort of money that he would get at Arsenal, it'd be a big bump up. And I don't understand why. Well, I do understand it. It's us. We miss out on the scope of players available because we're only using at the moment these certain agents, and we're getting players that are on these agents' lists. And it's almost like we need a player in a certain position, but how we're getting players sometimes, it seems like we ring up these agents and say, who have you got available that's ready for a move? Instead of, we need a player that plays in this position that has these traits and has these attributes and can fit into these kind of formations.
Yeah. We don't see who's the player and then see, does he have an agent? Who's the agent? We see who's the agent that we have on our roster and then go down to the players, which is the opposite of how we used to behave, because we didn't let agents in till about 3 years ago. And then all of a sudden,
you know, building our defense, like it appears that we have been. Why did we not just go and activate Upamecano's release clause? He had a release clause. We could have activated that, no problem, brought him in, job done. But we're missing out on the scope of some of the players that are available because we're only dealing with blinkers. We've got these blinkers on, and we're only dealing with these certain people for whatever reason. And it just seems a real parochial approach for a club that's supposed to be international.
Yeah, we've really, it does really seem like, hell, I don't know what, over the last at least 5 years that we've really narrowed the scope of the players that, not the players that we're looking at in terms of their style, but looking at players in terms of where they're from.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't even look at players in England, for crying out loud. I would have been absolutely over the moon 5 months ago, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever, if we would have signed Said Benrahma from Brentford. I would have been over the moon about it. Now, that being said, he went to West Ham, and he's not done anything for West Ham that I'm aware of. I've not particularly paid close attention to West Ham, but I, see post-match reports and things, and just don't really see his name being bandied about by many. So I would have taken him in a heartbeat here, but we don't seem to look at not only English players, but players playing in England. Be it in the Premier League, be it in the Championship.
I thought it was very telling that Vardy turned us down when there was a serious interest in him. I thought that was very, very telling. That I was going to say, Ryan, you've changed. But what's going on? But we couldn't even entice James Vardy, and then the other guy that we've been linked with, that midfielder. I can never say his name.
Szoboszlai. He's in Leipzig.
Are we really losing out on a player from the French league? He's going to go, nah, I don't fancy Arsenal. I'm going to go and play for RB Leipzig.
Well, that's I'll say this, Dan, on just that specific instance. He was playing for Salzburg in the Austrian league. They're both owned by Red Bull. So I think there was a comfort there with ownership or whatever style. I think he just felt more comfortable kind of. I don't think that really had anything to do with Arsenal. I think that was all in the player. I don't think the player turned down Arsenal as much as the player wanted to go to. I think he wanted to go to Leipzig when he knew Leipzig were involved. I think he wanted to go to Leipzig. And the guy, to piggyback on that, just jumped in because we're getting ready to go after party, baby, here in about 5 minutes. But I'll bring Jess and Drew in here. Drew, did Szoboszlai go to Leipzig because he like style, ownership, whatever, or did he turn down Arsenal?
Well, it's a bit of both. Like players that go from the Austrian Bundesliga have a better chance of translating their form to Germany, which is culturally it's similar. The language is the same. Expectations on younger players is not as heightened. He's guaranteed to play at RBL. At Arsenal, we don't know how we would have used him, where we would have used him. Nagelsmann historically is very good with young players as well. So everything about it was the right fit. He'd have minimal adjustment, to go from Austria to Germany on every level, to go to England, to be one of the only Hungarian players to ever play in England, for example. To come with his expectations, it would have been a huge difference. You know what I mean? So he'll leave Germany eventually. He's not going to finish his career with them. He'll go somewhere else, so it's inevitable. But that's the transition that normally happens. And normally, if you do go from Austria to somewhere else, you go to like a jumper club. Like that's why Sadio Mane went to Saints first. He didn't go from Salzburg to Liverpool. He went to Salzburg. Did wonderfully. Adapted to the country, adapted to the league, the language, the expectations. He made the move to a bigger club. So I wasn't, I don't think personally he would have been. I don't think he would have adapted quickly or whatever happened. I think it would have been a, not like a you sign him if you're Arsenal, you're looking at him like 3 years from now, not immediately. So just my take.
Obviously the Premier League is a better league. I love the Bundesliga. I know me and Drew have certain ties to the Bundesliga, but would you rather join a Bundesliga team in third place or a Premier League club struggling in 15th or 16th place? I mean, that's really all you got to ask.
He's going from Salzburg to play in Champions League and win the league every season, or 90% of the time, to a club like Leipzig, who are Bayern. They're a good club. They're one. They have a very young and progressive manager, again, who's good with younger players. They have a fast track. He's playing with brilliant players as well. It's not like they've got like Weissman and their 11. They have excellent players as well. Yeah. So they've gone to Bundesliga. So it's not like it's and not for nothing. I know that a lot of the fans don't want to hear this, but Leipzig are miles ahead of us in their project than ours. There's not even a debate. So there is no debate to be had. You know what I mean? So it's also why Upamecano isn't just trying to jump ship now. Bigger clubs than us have interest, and he hasn't left yet. So we can't just say it's just us. It's United have had interest. City have had interest. Bayern have had interest. He's still in Leipzig still.
It sucks too because January 2nd, when they play Stuttgart, they're probably gonna get their ass kicked. But again, like Leipzig's a great team, and I only say that because Giannis in the chat brought up Wangatuka, who
he's very, very good.
Yeah, but let's just face it, Leipzig are a better team than us right now, and the third, like Drew said it perfectly. Champions League is just it's the I don't even want to say flavor of the month. It's like the flavor of the last couple of years. Champions League is just where you want to go. It's where you want to play. To me, that's more the world stage than like the Premier League or other places. And even to some people, though, people prefer the Champions League over like World Cup. And again, it's kind of apples and oranges a little bit, but it's such a big deal. And like Drew said, Leipzig are brilliantly ran. They have a lot of young players who we've kind of been after for a couple of years. So and also too, with them being parent clubs, sibling clubs, or whatever you want to call it, it just made the transition that much easier. But again, agree with Drew. Like the fourth time I said that in one sentence. I don't think Leipzig is going to be his final destination. I think he will move on to bigger and hopefully better things.
Since we are at the topic of transfers, and maybe this is an after party sort of discussion, but like what about bringing some of the guys that we have on loan, bringing them back and trying them out? We've got two, right? We've got Guendouzi and we've got this guy, Torreira, right? Two of them.
Both of them over Arteta's dead body.
Two of them sent out by Arteta, but I think this run of losing has sort of, maybe it's changed Arteta. Maybe Arteta has grown himself. You learn more from failures than you do from victories, right? That time he was riding the high of the FA Cup and he thought that he could do no wrong. So I'm going to stamp my authority and Guendouzi, you hold Maupay's neck and you're out of the team. Or, Torreira, you're not good enough. But now he's seen how these players that he has signed, he wanted Williams and the other guys, they've down tools and how they have cost him his job almost. Now, is it time for him to bring those guys back? Because I don't know how many big money signings we're going to do in the winter transfer window. So, and we've got to, we'll do zero. So we've got to bolster our midfield because, we've seen what this team can lead us into, right?
I mean, do we really want Guendouzi back? Like,
Yes, and yes.
You know what?
I love Guendouzi, Sarah.
Let me jump in here because on that note, I know that Ryan, I'm going to keep it PG-13. I know that Ryan has his feelings for Guendouzi. So this is going to be a good place to wrap up the main portion of the show. We are going to jump over to my YouTube channel now. I have posted the links on Twitter. You could copy and paste the link that I put in a comment here. In fact, I will put the comment or the link back over to my channel for you real quick. You can copy and paste that into your browser.
Did you not get authorization for this show to be on the main channel? Is that
I'm trying to build up.
Did the birthday boy say I cannot have Drew and his disgusting mouth, and then Mike, who always knows what's right to say? I mean, you can't have this on the main channel.
Yeah,
I saw Drew's eyes roll when I came in, and buddy, I love you so much, man. I love you. I love you.
Thank you very much to everybody who is going to leave us here at this point. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching as always. I would be remiss if I did not wish everybody a happy new year. Stan, I'm going to throw it to you for last word on the big show. Go ahead.
Yeah, on the big show. What, the wrestler? Yeah, he's not bad.
It's a big show. I kind of look like it right now.
I just want to say to all of the people that come into the chat box each week and those that listen back in the UK, especially on the replay, thanks for sticking with us since we started this venture. Same with Arsenal USA. And until we see each other again, I'd like to wish each and every one of you a really happy new year and keep your chins up, because I think that 2021 can't be as dog shit as 2020. It's got to get better.
No.
I'm keeping all my chins up right now. All three of them.
Rowan, last word.
Oh, this has been a good time. The festive period, thankfully, has been good to Arsenal. It's been a good Christmas. We've done well last two games. Now we look forward to doing well. My boy Chad is in the chat box, with whom I watched the turn of Arsenal's fortunes and going up and Chelsea going down. So, let's hope we win the next one and we're 3 points behind Chelsea and we can mount some sort of momentum and get back into it. We were 15th, now we're 13th. Let's get into that top half and then let's start a surge.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, what Rohan said was pretty spot on. Obviously, I didn't want to be this bad, but if we're going to make a turning point, this is like the perfect time. Hopefully, some of these deadweight players can kind of see, hey, we don't need you, and kind of just see themselves out slowly but surely. Hey, I'll even take a couple Irish goodbyes. I don't care at this point. I think we just need to sell, and hopefully, we could just get rid of half the squad. I know I'm being a little crazy, but yeah, we just need to sell. I know we're being linked to a lot of players. I know someone we didn't bring up, as Drew has graciously tweeted out a nice thread, which you all should check out. I retweeted it about Julian Brandt, who I'm a huge fan of, and I think he would be a great addition to our team, our club. But with that being said, sell.
Were you Mortimer? Are you Mortimer? Are you the?
That's what I feel like. But yeah, so happy New Year to everybody, and check out Arse Bros because we're awesome and we curse and we don't care about anything, and we say the craziest, dumbest stuff you will ever hear in your life. And I'm like the more like sensible, calmer one, so that should give you enough to know about what Arse Bros is about. And we have the Friday Arse show previewing our next game in January 2nd. I forget. Oh, West Brom. I'm going to be on the show with Mike. We're going to be previewing on Thursday, which is weird because it's the Friday Arse show, but it's going to be on Thursday. I think it's 9 p.m. UK time, so it's 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Definition time. I don't know why I said that.
Good deal.
Cool.
All right. So from all of us here at Same Old Arsenal USA, including the new faces that you see, I'm sure they'll second this. Drew, Jess, Mike from the Gooners Pod. Very happy New Year. Hope you guys all tune in to the after show, which is coming up right now.